जय श्री माता जी। श्री माता जी के श्री चरणों पर नतमस्तक होकर प्रणाम करेंगे और बंधन लेंगे। त्रिमहामंत्र एवं श्री गणेश मंत्र। संतुलन हेतु अपनी बाएं हाथ लीजिए श्री माता जी के समक्ष और दाहिना हाथ धरती माँ की ओर या धरती माँ पर। श्री माता जी से प्रार्थना करेंगे। श्री माता जी, कृपा करके हमारे भूतकाल से प्रेरित जो भी विचार है, जो भी अशुद्धि है, उसे कृपा करके आप धरती तत्व में खींच लीजिए। दाहिना हाथ श्री माता जी की ओर, बायां हाथ आकाश की ओर। श्री माता जी से प्रार्थना करेंगे। श्री माता जी, हमारे पिंगला नाड़ी में उत्पन्न होने वाले भविष्य के अनुचित विचार और आकांक्षाएं कृपा करके आकाश तत्व में खींच लीजिए। दोनों हथेली श्री माता जी की ओर, चित सहस्त्रार पर। श्री माता जी से प्रार्थना करेंगे, माँ कृपा करके हमें निर्विचार स्थिति प्रदान करें। अब हम श्री माता जी की अमृत वाणी का आनंद लेंगे। उसके पश्चात कुछ समय ध्यान में रहेंगे।
sustain our spirit direction. I think it is the quality of wisdom which is still lingering or is manifesting in many Australian wisdom paths, which many have lost because they have taken to the gross side of materialism. Shri Ganesha is a tremendous purifying power, tremendous purifying, because it cannot be contaminated. Whatever you may try, it cannot be contaminated. Only thing is, it may recede back. It may not manifest. But wherever it is in its absolute form. If you know how to use it, you can purify everyone, you and yours, everyone. So the responsibility of Australians, one must understand, is very big. Because they are living in a country which is ruled by the Ganesha. So first they have to maintain their purity of their being. Many people sometimes think that purity is only limited to the gross side, that we lead a sensible sex life is sufficient. It is not so. That's why Christ has said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Meaning, your eyes should be clean. And as you know, eyes represent your ego and superego both. So, when he said that your eyes should be clean, he meant that your thoughts should be clean. Now, what is the generator of your thought? You have to go deep into it and see how thoughts are generated. The brain of human beings, as you know, is like a pyramid. Is elevated to a central point here in a polygon way. It's the epitome, it's the Brahman. And when this mind elevates to that state in human beings, it goes into a tremendous change of its reactions to its environment. For example, an animal, if he sees a thing, he doesn't think about it. There's no reaction. But only in human beings, this reaction takes place because of his conical plane, let's say, that is attention that's coming in goes into a parallelogram of forces. Because we have two types of density. There is also refraction. And because of refraction, parallelogram of forces act in such a way that your attention goes out. And the attention that goes out reacts. And when it reacts, the thought waves start coming into us. You must have seen a lake. If you drop a stone in a lake, the waves start. Right? And they come to the shores of the lake. And then it is the shore that gives it another wave which goes back. In the same way, when human beings look at anything, they put attention to it, There's always a reaction. Now, according to Christ, we have to have a non-adulterous society. There should be no adultery. The word adultery is, in the pure sense, is not so bad. Adultery means there should not be any mixture of what it exists. Simple like that. When we say there's adulteration in the milk, we mean that it's not purely milk, but it's something else in it, all right? So, when you look at things, say this is war. The war is a war, that's all. What is there to think about? But a person who is not realized so will immediately start thinking about war. Now, depending on the conditioning, if a person is a very perverted soul, I don't know what he'll think of the war. Because I can't go to every level of things. Sorry, I have certain limitations. But a person who is, say, a normal person also may start thinking about the ball, how much it would cost. Also to conditioning according to money, because it's money. If he's ego-oriented, then his thoughts would go reacting that same. This is the adultery. That when you look at things, there's nothing to think of. What is there to think? Whatever is, it is. But we think by thinking, we solve the problems. Also, this kind of a myth exists among human beings. That when you look at something or you think about something, then you solve the problem. It's not good. It's a myth. Because thinking is just an empty process. It's like a wave passing towards the shore and think that it can just engulf it or dissolve it. So the thought is just an empty vessel which carries nothing. It cannot do anything. It cannot bring forth any fruit whatsoever. Sometimes the statement might look very big, and you might think, how can that be, Mother? You've done so much bad thinking. But you have not. Whatever you have done is through spontaneity. Because the unconscious has given you the ideas, inspiration. You have done everything through inspiration and not by your own thinking. Now there, we do not want to agree, because then we have to give up our ego, because we think, oh, we have achieved it through our thinking. But when you think too much like that, then what happens? The unconscious gives you the necessary information, because it has compassion, it has love for you. And suddenly you find something there. You are just pushed into that corner where you find. And for this we must know Einstein is the person who said that the theory of relativity dawned upon him from somewhere else, because whatever is known is already there. And whatever is unknown, you cannot find out by this brain, which is thinking, but by the brain which is enlightened. Now one, he said, thou shalt not have adulterous eyes. Of course, the adultery, as we understand, is that we should not have lust in our mind. But I would go still further to say that our attention has to be so pure that we should not have any return, idea of return coming to us from a particular, but just enjoy, just the joy part. If I see a beautiful thing, then I'm just enjoying. Not that I should possess it, nor should I think about it, nor do I need that I should repeat it. Just enjoy it as it is. Maybe if you just enjoy it, you will just feel it again. That's the capacity one should have of purification. So sometimes people think that Sahaja Yoga is a very Victorian sort of a system in which you can't live your life like this, and freedom we have achieved, abandonment we have achieved. We cannot enjoy it. Such. But this virtue or this righteousness that we have condemned so far is really the sustainer, is our quality, is our gold, is our wealth, is our property, is our security, which we have lost. And we have to just again have a cleansing. It is there. Because if it is fundamentally eternal, it cannot be lost. It cannot be permanently destroyed. It's like you have seen a brass metal or something like that that's covered with atmosphere, black, red, yellow, with sort of a color, and but again you polish it out, it comes back. But if it is gold, it is untarnished. It is untarnished. But if gold is allowed to rest in the dirty metal or something, you cannot see. It's covered with all kinds of things, and it's just finished now. It exists all the time. Our innocence is within. It's not lost. It's there. Only it's covered, just like the sky when we cover with clouds. It is covered now because of the atmosphere, because of the way we try to dent it. That's why I say don't feel guilty. Because if you feel guilty, then you have a hand which is weak, a mind which is warped, and then you don't want to cleanse it. But it exists all the time. It is untarnishable. It exists within you. You have to just get to it. Now Shri Ganesha is the one who does that job. He's the one who cleanses it. That not he is the embodiment of purity, but he does that job. Only a person or only the deity, which is the embodiment of purity, can do it. As like you can see a soap. Soap is the one which is in quality, is a pure thing, and it purifies too. Supposing it is not pure, can become contaminated. In the same way, our innocence is absolutely pure. So it is our innocence itself pure. Just see, the one which is lying under, which we have always repressed, which we have undermined, which we have not respected, comes to our help and shines. It's such a great blessing that we have so many eternal things existing. Otherwise, human beings would have been finished long time. There would have been no trace of human beings the way they have been playing about with their chastity, with their real power of their character. So, when it is very much always impressed in every religion that you have to lead a proper life, same life. The reason is this gold that is within us must be made to shine. And the brilliance of such a place. You can see a person who leads a very fast life and spread a shallow way, a sad life, and all kinds of unhappy lines on his face. But a person who starts shining one's own being with that wisdom and that purity beams, absolutely beams with the luster of Shri Ganesha, the innocence of Shri Ganesha, his playfulness, his joy, enjoying, the way he enjoys joy, the way he manifests joy. He is the source of all joy inside the world. Now, in English language, there are no names given to joy. There's only one word, joy. And I find it sometimes difficult to describe different kinds of joy that we can have at different levels of our relationship. But when you get 2 years of time, joy is called Nira Anand. Nira. Now, Nira is my name in that. Anand means joy. Nira means where there's nothing else but joy, a complete joy, no reaction, just some burst in joy. That quality also evolves through the quality of Sri Ganesha. It's the Sri Ganesh who evolves that quality of Niranand. He goes into evolution gradually, as you see, up to our batch, he becomes God. That doesn't mean that he goes into evolution, but we can see a seed going into that tree. And ultimately, what we find, that we're sitting on top of that tree enjoying like children. The joy that our Heavenly Father has bestowed upon us and his us. Now the puja part of it, one should understand, is very important in such. But everybody should not be exposed to puja to begin. From 2 points. Sometimes the people who come to puja actually are not really worthy, not worthy. And then they react. They react to puja. They think, why this puja is subservient and all sorts. Because they are not worthy of it. They have to find out some excuse to justify their unworthiness. So we have to first find out if the person is worthy of puja or not. If the person is not worthy, it's better to leave the person alone till he becomes worthy of it. Because doubts and all those things can obstruct flow of vibrations to other people, and such a person can create a problem for others. So it is not civil on that person also to be in the puja. If the person has not got an open heart and understanding of what doing puja to any deity as such is not easy, especially to Shri Ganesha. Those people who do puja to Shri Ganesha should know that, of course, it has to be a Swayambhu, means the one that is created by Mother Earth. No other Ganesha should be created. And if they are not realized, so they can never worship Shri. We cannot even think of, we cannot even take his name. It is so much difficult to reach the God. But after realization, the first thing you have to do is to worship Shri. Because that's the basis on which you got your realization. He's the one first who got his crucifixion, then his resurrection. And it is the one who opened the path of realization. So you have to worship him before any other deity. The greatest sacrifices, greatest evolutionary ascent you achieved for your sake, to become a human being, to die, and to suffer like a human being, so that you should not find it difficult to get your realization. Today, when we say that, oh, it's so easy, how do we get it? We forget that people have done a lot of work to achieve it for you, to create the path. Like supposing I come to Perth. See, when I was studying in schools, I used to read about Perth. And I could not imagine that Indians could easily reach Perth so easily. From, say, just fly out and you are just there. But it's possible today that we have achieved this kind of an ascent from India to Perth so easily. Because people have worked for it. People have sacrificed. How many people must have died creating an aeroplane? How must have had shocks and things like that? We are now just using, we are so privileged to use their sacrifices for our benefit. It's all we take for granted. In the same way, in spiritual ascent, when we say it's easy, it's not so easy as you think, because it is worked out since ages, in a very deep way. And even your mother has worked so hard to achieve. So somebody has done the job. So if it is easy, you should thank your stars that it's not difficult for you. Instead of doubting it, why is it so easy? That you want to contribute something to it. All right, you can. But first, take advantage of what is available, and then you can contribute also something more to it if you have not known as an ordinary aeroplane, how are you going to build a complicated one? So first know that whatever is achieved is self-realization and cleansing power of Shri. Establish Shri. First of all, you must establish it, and then you can use it for others, for yourself, and for bettering the methods of Samjora that you have. That's how Shri Ganesha is so important for all the searchers. To be understood in its all aspects. But this principle is very in all sessions. Principle is very spread out. It's very subtle. So to understand in its own aspects, not in. Only thing what you can do is to become one with it. Like the ocean, you become one with the ocean, you become the ocean. Just become one with it. And that's how it goes. But if you use your brains to understand, your brain cannot even capture a wink of it. The best thing is that you just be humble about the whole process. Just try to become one. And those who can achieve that will realize that they have become joy themselves. And they have this joy-giving quality. They have those qualities by which they just give bliss and peace to others. Just they being there itself is sufficient. It's great. I always had great hopes on Australia. And I was sure that one day it would happen in a big way. And when it happens here, we achieve later results in other places. We have to work hard. And you all have to work very hard to understand the importance of this country. Your importance, I must say. Just before Puja, I would like you, anyone who has any genuine question, to ask, because I don't want that the Puja time is spent. If you have any question. Well, okay. But because Shri Ganesha himself is difficult. He's the one stop. He is the one who makes you settle down. The word is stop. Like Grahastha, the one who is a householder, is the one who stays in the house. Who makes you stay or makes you stay.
Establish.
Established. Established. That's what it's about. Establishment and all those words. Making Rosita.
Settled.
Settle, you can say, settle. All these, or we should say rooted. Keeps you rooted is a better word. Rooted. So I did my things to work. The center is the door. See the door. Actually, that is. You have to find out more people who are true seekers. And don't quarrel with people who are doubting. Just don't quarrel. Gradually all of them have to come. And if they don't come, don't despair. That's all. That's their luck. So you just don't argue on that point. Don't waste your energy arguing. We have other methods of convincing them, of giving them bandhar, of all the Nirmala Vidya that you need. So you don't get disturbed and you don't get angry because there is too. And you must know your past also. how you behaved towards Sahaja, and then you will be kind to them. Be kind. Gradually, everyone has to come. Those who are sick will see that they are all ill before they close the doors. We do the Puja. Come on.
The water bottle.
Very good. Did I give you these this time? No. This is the last time. Okay. This nectar comes from Shri.
We would have liked to have taken you to Ayers Rock this time, Mother, too.
Yes, I would love to see, but how far is it?
It's quite a long way, and it means one air journey to Alice Springs to the centre, and then another smaller plane to the place. We could do it if you wish, but
We'll do next year. That
it's,
I'll get there.
it's such a beautiful place, full of vibration.
I'll see photographs. We should get some more photographs for people to see. You see, Indians, when I tell them, they said they haven't seen the photograph.
Okay.
So if you could have some film or something, they would love to see.
Actually, we could put together a little exhibition.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean, you even see the trunk going
Yes,
like that. Can
yes,
you imagine?
yes.
What more you want the
Yeah.
expression of Shri Ganesha?
And it's exactly on the parallel of latitude as Chindwara.
As Chindwara.
As it is north,
Yeah.
so it is
On the
south.
other side. It's Capricorn. In the Capricorn.
Exactly. Not within a few degrees, but exactly.
What's the latitude?
20, I've got it written down. It's 22 and a half, 23 degrees. But it's a little,
And altitude?
it's, I think it's on a plateau about 1,800 feet or something like that.
No, what you call
The elevation of the hill, the mountain.
You see, we have two things. No, one thing.
Oh, longitude, sorry.
Longitude.
I don't know.
Longitude.
Let me check that. Does anybody know?
We should find out
I'll find out. Yes.
what is on the other side.
Shall we begin by saying your mantras, Mother? And shall we begin with your mantras and Shri Ganesha's mantras?
Yes, Shri Ganesha's mantra is all right. Well, sing Shri Ganesha's mantra.
First
Washing
thing.
my feet, yes. So my feet are Shri Ganesha. Hands are Shri Krishna. Head is Ganesha.
Begin with
श्री माता जी, आपके प्यार और आपकी कृपा को कोटि कोटि प्रणाम। श्री माता जी के श्री चरणों पर नतमस्तक होकर प्रणाम करेंगे और बंधन लेंगे।